With big price cuts, the Ryzen 9600X has become the best value mid-range gaming CPU in 2025. But pairing your Ryzen 9600X with the right graphics card, motherboard, and RAM, it can be confusing. Welcome back to PC Builder, I'm Jason. This 2025 Ryzen 9600X PC build guide will cover everything that you need for the best Ryzen 9600X build, including the best graphics card for the Ryzen 9600X, the best RAM for the Ryzen 9600X, the best motherboard for the Ryzen 9600X, and more. And we'll give you specific build templates for both a maximum value Ryzen 9600X build and a premium Ryzen 9600X gaming PC build. If you get value out of this video, please give it a like, it makes a huge difference to the channel, and of course subscribe for more cool PC content. Let's jump into it. Let's start with the best graphics card for the Ryzen 5 9600X to get the best CPU and GPU combo in 2025. We want to get the fastest graphics card we can, then just get a CPU that's not going to bottleneck it. The Ryzen 9600X is a very capable mid-range gaming CPU, capable of powering budget 1440p graphics cards like the RX 9060 XT 16GB, the RTX 5060 Ti 16GB, or on the Intel side, the Arc B580 12GB. Now, those graphics cards are the ones that I would recommend on the lower end as a minimum. The Ryzen 9600X pairs particularly well with mid-range and upper mid-range graphics cards like the RTX 5070 and 5070 Ti on the Nvidia side, and the RX 9070 and 9070 XT 16GB on the AMD Radeon side. Now, we could even consider higher-end graphics cards like the RTX 5080, but at that point, it might make more sense to up the CPU power, and I'd probably look to the Ryzen 7800X 3D, which is available at the time of filming for about $350. So what's the best RAM to get for the Ryzen 9600X in 2025? Now check out our best RAM for gaming 2025 video for a deeper dive. But in a nutshell, you want DDR5 6000 CL30 RAM in a 2x16GB kit, so 32GB total. And you want to make sure to go into the BIOS and enable the XMP or Expo one-click auto overclocking profile to get the full rated speed. Now you don't want to exceed 6000 speed because the Ryzen memory controller, it can't really handle it. It will then run at a less optimal 2:1 ratio. And you also don't want to go slower than 6000 speed because it just doesn't save you any money and it can cost you performance. You also do not want to run 4 sticks of RAM because no DDR5 memory controllers currently are good enough to handle 4 sticks at the speeds that we're looking for, and we're just going to end up with constant crashes. While there are now some DDR5 6000 kits with tighter cache latency, CL28 and CL26 kits, right now they're about $30 to $80 more expensive. At that point, you'll probably get more performance by moving up a CPU tier instead. But obviously, if they're similarly priced to the CL30 stuff, then feel free to grab the tighter timing kits. For the total amount of RAM, there are now some 16GB kits out there in 2x8GB configurations, but you only save about $10 or $30, so I would just ignore those, and there's zero reason for budget to mid-range gamers to get more than 32GB of RAM, so don't waste your money. Now, great value kits in the US right now include non-RGB Patriot Viper in a steel finish for around $85, and Silicon Power and Team Group kits with cheaper and more basic looking heat spreaders. For RGB kits, they start around $95, including the Team Group T-Force Delta RGB, Corsair Vengeance, G.Skill M5 Ripjaws, and others. I'll link a number of kits down in the video description below for you to check out. So what's the best motherboard for the Ryzen 9600X in 2025? Now, we've got an entire video on the best motherboard for Ryzen in 2025, so I'll leave that link down in the video description in our How to Build a PC playlist if you want a deeper dive. Ryzen 9600X gaming PC builds are really flexible, from great budget 1440p gaming builds to more mid-range and upper mid-range builds with higher-end graphics cards. So we'll go through a range of motherboards that are going to best fit your build. Starting with the chipset, AMD has made a total mess out of these names, from A620 to B840 to B650 to B850 to X870, and then some of them have an E in the name, but others don't. Here's your cheat code. A620 and B840 motherboards, they're lower end boards that don't allow the use of AMD's auto overclocking feature called Precision Boost Overdrive. And we want to enable PBO to maximize our performance, so we're going to skip those boards. We want to focus on B650, B650E, and B850 motherboards, which offer the best value for gamers, without paying for expensive X series motherboards that have extra stuff on it that gamers don't need. The only real decision in 2025 is whether or not you want to get a motherboard with a PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot, and at this point, I'm ready to tell you to get it because it no longer costs anything extra. All of the B650E motherboards have it, as do most, but not all of the B850 motherboards. If you're in a region with bad motherboard pricing, B650 with their PCIe Gen 4 GPU slots are absolutely fine as well. I don't think you're ever going to need that PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot, but if it doesn't cost anything, you might as well grab it. Value picks start at $110 to about $140 in the US. They include basic audio, 2 to 3 M.2 slots, decent but not amazing VRMs, and solid but not amazing rear panel USB connectivity. Now the ASRock B850M Pro-A, it's a great value micro ATX motherboard with decent VRMs, 3 full bandwidth M.2 NVMe SSD slots, 4 high-speed USB ports, including a Type-C, and 4 USB 2.0 ports, along with nice black styling, and there's both a Wi-Fi 6E version and a non-Wi-Fi version. You can also check out the B850M-X Revision 2. Don't get the original one as they upped the speed of the GPU slot to PCIe Gen 5. And that's a similar board with slightly cut down features for a little bit less. There's also a bunch of slightly different versions of this board for a little bit more. Really, any of them are pretty good. If you don't care about the PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot, I also like the ASUS TUF B650M-E Wi-Fi for about $140, and it looks really nice, along with the MSI Pro B650M-A Wi-Fi for about the same price. For ATX-sized mid-range motherboards, my top picks include the ASRock B850 Pro-A with very solid VRMs, 4 M.2 NVMe SSD slots, though one is only PCIe Gen 3, 6 high-speed USB ports with 2 Type-Cs, and 6 more USB 2.0 ports, just tons of connectivity. Along with great black styling for about $140, it's also got a Wi-Fi version for about $20 more. I also like the Gigabyte B850 Gaming X Wi-Fi for about $160, also with great VRMs, along with 3 M.2 NVMe SSD slots, all of which have heat spreaders, 6 high-speed USB ports and 2 USB 2.0 ports, nice styling, and a built-in rear I/O shield with Wi-Fi 6E. There's also the ASUS B650E Max Gaming Wi-Fi and MSI B850 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi. These boards aren't quite as good feature-wise. The MSI has fewer USB ports while the ASUS has weaker VRMs, and both have 2 full bandwidth M.2 SSD slots and 1 half bandwidth M.2 slot. But the ASUS comes with white PCB, which is one of the cheapest all-white motherboards out there. For premium motherboards, now we're looking for 3 full bandwidth M.2 drives, with at least 2 of them having heat sinks, a built-in rear I/O plate with good USB connectivity, upgraded audio codec to ALC 1200, 1220, or 4080, strong VRMs, and of course, we want it to look amazing. Pricing is really volatile in this section of the market right now. Sometimes an X870 or higher end motherboard will go on sale, so keep your eyes peeled. But generally, my top picks here start around $180 US, with the ASRock B850 Riptide featuring 4 M.2 NVMe SSD slots. 3 of those have heat spreaders, 7 high-speed USB ports and 2 Type-Cs, and 4 USB 2.0 ports. It's a black motherboard with some dark purple gamery kind of highlights and Wi-Fi 7. The similarly priced and spec'd ASRock B850 Steel Legend is basically just a white version on white PCB, and the live mixer is similar but drops one of the Type-C ports for a ton more USB 2.0 ports and has 3 M.2 NVMe's. The ASUS TUF B650E Plus is a great pick. It's essentially an upgraded version of their excellent B650 motherboard with a PCIe Gen 5 GPU slot, 3 full bandwidth M.2 NVMe SSDs with heat spreaders, 4 high-speed USB ports including a Type-C, 4 USB 2.0 ports, along with Wi-Fi 6E. It also uses the same styling as a B850 TUF, which I personally think is the best looking B850 motherboard out there. If you do want to spend a little bit more, the ASUS TUF B850 Plus, it ups the speed of the 4 USB 2.0 ports on the B650E, so they're all fast, and it also adds Wi-Fi 7. It usually only sells for a little bit more, so you can consider that as well, but make sure to avoid the TUF-E version, which is a massively cut down motherboard that sells for the same price for some reason and looks the same, but it's actually a mid-range motherboard at best. What's the best CPU cooler for the Ryzen 9600X? Well, we want to make sure that we enable Precision Boost Overdrive in the BIOS to get the best performance. All we really need for that is at least a budget tower air cooler for between $20 and $40. Anything from one of the many Thermalright Assassin coolers for right around $20 to the Cooler Master Hyper 212, or better yet, the better looking Halo version, or the really great id Cooling SC214XT in white or black for $18. I also really like the new Thermalright Assassin Digital with a cool digital temperature readout for only $25. Now these tower air coolers are more than enough with proper airflow, particularly if we're mostly gaming where the CPU temps aren't going to get that hot. I think these coolers all look great, But if you want to go with a liquid AIO, the good news is that AIO prices have absolutely crashed. You can pick up a great 240, even 360mm AIO for between $45 and $70, like the Thermaltake Aqua Elite V3 or V4 for around $45, Vetro V240 or V360 for $60, or the id Cooling FX240 or 360 RGB for $60. I'll leave links to these coolers and some other suggestions down in the video description. Let's talk about the best SSD for the Ryzen 9600X. Now, if you haven't had a chance to watch our best SSD for gaming 2025 video, it is linked down in the description in our How to Build a PC playlist if you want a deeper dive. But basically, there's no current gaming benefit from using anything faster than even a SATA SSD. But Gen 3 and Gen 4 NVMe SSDs are equally cheap, they're faster for other workloads, and they're easy to install. And Gen 5 NVMe SSDs, they continue to be massively overpriced and a total waste of your money. For budget-focused PC builds, I like the Silicon Power UD90, Team Group G50, or Western Digital SN580 or SN5000. Those are great drives that we've recommended in the past. For more premium builds looking to add a DRAM cache to make their SSD a little snappier when doing things like file copies and game installs, consider grabbing a drive like the Clevcraft C930, Team Group G70 Pro, or Acer Predator GM7000 with DRAM on them. Right now, 2TB drives are the best price per terabyte, followed closely by 4TB models for those looking for more storage. And this is not 2015 anymore. You don't need a separate drive for your operating system. A single large capacity drive is fine and it saves you money. I'll leave several SSDs linked down in the video description. All right, for the PC case, what do we want here? It's good airflow, but we really don't want to overspend too much either. Now, ideally, we want at least 2 intake and 1 exhaust fan, though more airflow, it's always better. Now, great budget options can be had for as little as about $60, starting with micro ATX case options like the Okonos Aqua 3, Mirage 4, or Cypress 3, along with a Thermaltake TG170 View. We cover other alternatives in our Best PC Case 2025 video, linked down in the video description under our How to Build a PC playlist. All these micro ATX size cases offer included fans, and they're great for air cooling. Note that the Aqua 3, despite its name, actually isn't good for an AIO cooler. Most of them come in black and white options as well. For ATX size cases, if you go with an ATX motherboard, the Montech Wood XR for about $70, Thermaltake View 270 are great ATX size PC cases with included ARGB fans for affordable prices, and they're in stock right now. If you want even more mid-range and possibly higher-end PC case options, check out our Best PC Case 2025 video. Let's talk about the power supply, or PSU for short. Now, if you haven't seen our How to Buy a PSU 2025 guide, we cover how to size and buy the best unit for your build, based on unit quality rather than the nonsensical 80+ rating system. Basically, I take the rated power draw and PC part picker of all the components and multiply that by 1.5 to get the minimum wattage. Because the Ryzen 9600X, it's so power efficient, many builds won't require more than 550 to 750 watts using this formula. For more value-focused builds around the $1,000 price point, I think a unit rated in the C tier on the SPL PSU tier list is probably fine, like the Apevia Prestige 600-watt, MSI A650BN or BE versions, or the Corsair CX650 or 650M. If jumping up to 750 or higher wattage, there are a number of B and A tier rated PSUs typically found in the $80 to $100 range, like the Be Quiet Pure Power 12M 750-watt, Vetru 850-watt, and Montech Century 2 850-watt, among others. So how much should your Ryzen 9600X build cost? Well, I put together 2 build templates to get you started. Now, the first is a best value build that uses the Ryzen 9600X. I'm estimating that's going to be between $180 and $200 US, but it's been on sale for as low as $160 this year. A budget tower air cooler, a value-focused B850 micro ATX size motherboard, DDR5 6000 CL30 non-RGB RAM, 1TB budget NVMe SSD, value micro ATX PC case, and the current lowest cost C-tier rated PSU that's 650 watts. Not including the GPU, that build comes in at just under $600 US. Note that I'm actually filming this during a big sale, but you should be able to do this for between $580 and $650. This would pair great with an RX 9060 XT 16GB or RTX 5060 Ti 16GB GPU, even up to an RTX 5060 12GB or RX 9070 16GB. And for bigger GPUs, just make sure to increase the PSU size. For a more premium build that doesn't stray too far from value, I switched the cooler to a reasonably priced 360mm AIO liquid cooler with RGB. I've upgraded the motherboard to an ATX size premium model. I've gone with RGB on the RAM at the same speed. I went with a Gen 4 NVMe SSD with DRAM. I also added in an ATX size PC case and an A-tier higher wattage PSU. Now the upgraded build without the GPU comes in right around $750 US right now, and I think budgeting for up to $800, very safe bet. Obviously, if you want, you can spend more, but these templates should get you started, and I'll leave both of them linked down in the video description for you to check out. Of course, remember that everything is linked down in the video description, checked out for current pricing and availability, and if new motherboards and stuff like that come in, we will definitely add them as well. Also check out our How to Build a PC playlist, including our guide on how to actually build a PC and set it up after your build. Of course, if you got value out of this video, please give a like, it makes a huge difference to the channel, and of course, subscribe for more cool content. And we'll catch you on the next one.